everybody, it's Jeff here, and the DocRocker is off for, of course, the holidays. But I figure, you know what? It's New Year's Eve. I figure I should do something, talk about some of the music that was released in 2020. Because at first I'm thinking there wasn't really much going on musically, but of course, as I looked into it and I asked on the DocRocker Facebook group, I asked about, what has been released that you really liked. So I got a lot of feedback on that. So I want to talk about some of the ones that you talked about on the Facebook group and some of the ones that I listened to that were really good albums to get us through this horrible, horrible year that was 2020 and welcome us into 2021. Hopefully more live music. Hopefully we'll get back to normal. But until then, here's a bunch of albums that I listen to that either you told me to listen to from the Facebook group or something, a band that I discovered on my own in the last year or so. So we're going to start with Sons of Apollo 2020. This came out in January of 2020. It's supergroup with Jeff Scott Soto, Bumblefoot, Billy Sheehan, Derek Sherinian on keyboards, and Mike Portnoy on drums. You can't go wrong with that lineup. I think it's their second release. It's really dense progressive metal. Derek Sherinian and Mike Portnoy have their Dream Theater influence all over. If you don't know, Mike Portnoy was the drummer for Dream Theater for a very long time. And Derek Sherinian was their second keyboard player. I believe he played on one or two of their albums. These songs flow really well. Jeff Scott Soto's voice is incredible. I absolutely love this guy's voice. Now, some people aren't a fan of his. I am. Sherinian's keys, like I said, are awesome. Portnoy, he plays with style through this whole thing. Goodbye Divinity, I believe it's like the title track, or the first track on the album. It really just opens it up, and it's fantastic all the way through. You got Billy Sheehan on bass, and you got Bumblefoot on guitar. You can't really go wrong with that. Fall to Ascend is probably the heaviest thing on the album, and it's wow, man, it's heavy. Power, speed, melody. It got it all. Resurrection Day, New World Today, two other really, really good tracks on the album. Fans of prog metal, I will love it. And that's all I got to say. Great album. Next up, we have Armored Saint, Punching the Sky. I think Roadhouse Lou from our Facebook group suggested this one. Now, I'm not as familiar with Armored Saint as I should be because I think John Bush, the singer, is fantastic. He's a fantastic vocalist. He was great. He was the best thing about those albums he did with Anthrax back in the 90s. The album starts out with this cool Celtic vibe. The opening track, it builds up, kicks in, and just great solid stuff. Bush's vocals, fantastic like always. Solid band that not enough people know about. I think I need to listen to more Armored Saint after hearing this. It's great, straightforward metal album. Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, which is the opening track. It just pretty much tells you this album. This is what it's gonna be. This is how the album's gonna be. If you like that first track, you're gonna like the rest of it. Really, really, really catchy choruses and hooks through the whole thing. It's great, standard, traditional classic metal. My Jurisdiction is another good one. Unfair. There's not much to dislike on this album. It's really solid. Next up, of course, if you were following along with our Rock Talk with DocRocker podcast, Danton discovered Alestorm this past year, and he's been talking about them since the beginning of our podcast. And I've known about this band for a few years, but Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Fantastic album, the sixth album by this band. Alestorm is unlike most bands. It's a blend of a ton of different genres, but it's always piratey. Folk metal, power metal, pirate metal with weird instrumentation sometimes and strange vocal, all about pirates and stuff, and funny tongue-in-cheek stuff. Really, really good, fun music. I can't... This album has no right to be as awesome as it is, really. If you just look at it from just looking at the album just for what it is and saying, okay, it's a pirate metal band. The guy plays a guitar. They have a big rubber duck on stage. They're silly. But they know what they're doing. They're great musicians and they write some really good hooks. Listen to the song Tortuga, I think it's called. If you like that, you're gonna like the rest of the album. This is the one I've been going back to the most out of all these albums I'm going to talk about. Alestorm, Curse of the Crystal Coconut is the one I go back to the most. It's fantastic. Another one that I've been listening to a lot is Fate's Warning, one of my favorite prog metal bands. Their newest album came out this year, Long Day Good Night. Some of it's very proggy, very heavy. Some of it's simpler and like just hooky. Very catchy stuff. Ray Alder is on top of his game with his vocals again. The whole band is just fantastic. I mean, it's Fate's Warning. They're some of the best in the business as far as like prog rock and prog metal goes right now. I don't think they have a bad album, but some of their albums I go back to more than others. And this one, I think I'll be going back to a lot more than their last two. The last two were pretty good. This one, and rumor has it, maybe their last album. But if it is, great way to go out. This one's really, really good. I really like it. So there you go. Another thumbs up. Fate's Warning, another great album by them. Now for something kind of different. King Mothership, The Ritual. I know about this because of Danton and Danton's brother, the guy I play in the band with, Adam. They're big fans of Periphery, and this is the singer Periphery and the drummer Periphery. It's their newest project. It's, how do I describe it? Pop punk prog rock. That's all. That's how I can describe it. It's really good. I only gave it 2 listens, but man, I like it a lot. There's a lot to like here. It also has like a slight Faith No More vibe in places, which is really cool to me because I'm a really big fan of Faith No More and Mike Patton. Now, this album definitely deserves more spins, and it's gonna get it because it's really, really good stuff. It grooves, it rocks, it's not boring. It's really unique stuff. Gets heavy here and there, but mainly, as far as I could tell, I'd say if you like clean vocals more, if you like Spencer from Periphery when he sings clean, this you're gonna get a lot of that on this album. It's really, really good. Next up is another one that Adam and Danton got me into, which is Arch Echo, Story 1. This is a great prog rock album, prog rock instrumental album. There's 4 tracks on here, and they're all great. It's great music for like when you're doing stuff. You want some music in the background. Listen to this. It's really good stuff, and it also deserves a deep listen to because if you're a musician, there's a lot of stuff going on in this album. And one review I read said it's a really disgusting level of talent. Yes, I agree. They're disgustingly talented. It's really, really, really excellent album. Next up, we have Tyrant, Hereafter. This is a great cross between more traditional heavy metal and doom metal. The vocalist on this album is his first album with the band Tyrant, because Tyrant's been around since the 80s. Rob Lowe, not the actor, the singer, Robert Lowe, who used to be with Solitude Eternus and then Candlemass. He's on this album. He's fantastic. He sounds great. Now, this album, I think, really shines when it's less doomy and more traditional metal. Kind of has that early Dio, Black Sabbath kind of feel to it. Black Sabbath with Dio, that is, to some of these songs. And that's where I think Robert Lowe really shines, when he's not singing the doomier stuff, when he's singing the more traditional metal stuff. It really shows like him kind of stretching what he can do with vocally, and he's a fantastic vocalist. This is great for anyone who really likes that traditional heavy metal sound with a little tinge of like doomy darkness, I'll say. It's not as doomy as, say, Solitude Eternus' stuff or Candlemass or some other bands I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the video. But it's good stuff. I mean, I've been listening to it since it came out. I was really excited for it, and it didn't let me down. It's really, really good stuff. Next up is Goldtown, Curse of El Dorado. Now, the connection between Robert Lowe, singer of Tyrant, and the singer of Goldtown is singer of Goldtown, Lyle, used to actually play bass in Solitude Eternus. That's kind of how I found out about Goldtown. Now, this is another fantastic album by this band. I've been a fan of theirs a long, long time, and it's a great album from start to finish. They're classified as like horror rock gothabilly with a touch of country western punk. I know it's a mouthful, but it describes them pretty much as best as I can. You listen to Trail of Snake and Bullets Don't Argue. If you like those two tracks, you'll love the rest of this album. It's really, really cool stuff. It's different. It's not a metal album, but it's in a genre pretty much all its own. It's really, Goldtown is really, really interesting band. If you like their stuff, I'd go back and check out the rest of their catalog because there's a lot of really good stuff there. I'm not sure if they have like 6 or 7 albums out, but it all has the same kind of vibe of this new one. It's good stuff. Next up, we have a classic. The Symbol Remains by Blue Oyster Cult, 15th studio album from them. That Was Me, the track that starts off the album. Fantastic. Really great old school Blue Oyster Cult sound with like a better modern mix to it, I'll say. The mix is great on this. The album itself is a little long, but it's a solid release. Tainted Blood, Edge of the World, The Machine, The Alchemist. There's enough solid tracks on here to like not get you bored. It's a great release. I think it's a little bit too long, because it's over an hour long, I think. But it's good. Now, I haven't listened to it enough. I think I spun the whole thing maybe twice. But I will go back to it. It's good. It's great to hear Blue Oyster Cult can still do it. Finally on the list, my friends in Drugbeard. Excellent stoner doom, sludgy, doomy, great album they put out. It's on Bandcamp. Check it out. I think it'll only cost you $4.20. Fans of Electric Wizard and Sleep will really like this. The mix is very sludgy, very doomy, very lo-fi on purpose, and it's a really, really excellent stoner doom album. Like they really outdid themselves. Todd, thumbs up, man. So there you go. That's what I've been listening to that you guys have been talking about. There's been more stuff I'm sure that I forgot about, but they're the ones that stick out to me that came out in the last year. So. Happy New Year, guys. We'll see you in 2021. We'll be back with more Rock Talk with DocRocker, probably next Friday. And we got a lot of stuff planned for the year ahead. There's going to be more podcasts, a lot more creative stuff we're going to be doing with the channel. And it's going to be fun. And we're going to do some more album reviews and stuff like this. But there you go. You got a whole bunch of new stuff to listen to as the ball drops and we start the new year. So, see you next time. Be safe. And don't forget to subscribe. Like us on Facebook and all that good stuff.